Today, I begin dismantling my 5-year-old wattle-walled keyhole garden with the help of some friends. This garden was woven 5 years ago following the African Keyhole garden design, which has a basket in the center for compost, a path for accessing the compost, and a circular garden bed that surrounds. From above, it looks a little like a keyhole, thus the name. This garden design is especially good for water retention and growing fresh veggies during the drought. I chose wattle for the sides of the raised beds because I wanted to use materials that would decompose and that I already had to hand. This garden was designed as a temporary experiment to see if this technique would work well in my climate. Spoilers, it did. After measuring the circles, I hammered the stakes into the ground. My choice of stakes was my first mistake. I used retired garden supports that were already half rotted from the elements. The woven branches are trimmings from fruit trees, willow, alder, and cottonwood. The garden itself was built of layers of wood, yard waste, mulch from the hen house, and a top dressing of soil. The center was left empty to be filled with compost and garden trimmings over time. And here was my second mistake, as the kitchen waste invited rats and other scavengers. Although, once I stopped adding food waste to the basket, the problem lessened considerably. So did I achieve my goals? Did it work? Absolutely. The entire garden thrived on less than a gallon of water a day in the height of the summer drought, when we can easily go 6 months between rainfall. Anyway, I'll put a link in the description where I document the build and use of this garden, but today I am much more interested in how well this wattle held up, and did it indeed build some soil I can use elsewhere. That and provide entertainment for my retirement flock, each of whom are very old and earned a life of luxury, and all the worms they can eat. This end of the garden had the least soil top dressing, so let's start here. Considering I haven't dug this since building the garden except to scratch the surface while planting seeds, it's lovely and lofty. The shovel is going in easily, like a fork into sponge cake. We've had record rainfall this winter, and most of the garden is still waterlogged, but this is perfect. The wattle sides allowed for extra drainage, which is just what we needed. The smell of the soil is rich and healthy, with notes of the disturbed garlic shining through. I don't need the volunteer garlic or rocks in the other garden, so I'll leave them here. This is a decent amount of soil for 5 years and minimal labor. No turning of the compost for me, thank you very much. The compost pile basket was poorly woven and long since rotted. Not that this stopped me from adding to it. But what about the outer wattle wall? Again, my poor choice of reusing half-rotted stakes betrayed me. But the weavers are happy to hold up the stakes. That's what weaving does. It creates a structure where the whole is so much stronger than the materials used to weave it. The weavers themselves are starting to rot at the bottom, where they come in contact with the soil, but not as much as I expected. This could easily hold up another 5 years, or longer with better materials. I'm going to leave the chickens to work on the center pile while I worry away at the main garden bed. As I go, I'll take the wattle sticks and place them under the new garden bed. Nothing's wasted.